The Earth is round. We all know that. Photos from space, centuries of science, physics textbooks. And yet, some people insist it's flat. Literally flat. Not metaphorically. Not as a thought experiment. Flat. Why? Why would humans reject centuries of evidence? Why cling to a belief that contradicts everything we see, measure, and test? The answer is not simple. It is complex, layered, human, and deeply revealing about the way our minds work. It begins in cognition. Humans are pattern-seeking creatures. Our brains evolved to detect order in chaos. To survive, we needed to predict danger, read behavior, anticipate outcomes. Sometimes the brain overcompensates. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, the tendency to notice evidence that supports existing beliefs and dismiss what contradicts them. Flat earthers aren't merely ignoring facts. They are processing the world through a filter of pre-existing assumptions. Every anomaly, real or imagined, becomes proof. Cognitive scientists also point to proportionality bias, the tendency to assume that big events must have big causes. Space programs, scientific consensus, global imagery, all seem too vast, too organized, too coordinated to be true in the minds of believers. For many, the world is more psychologically comforting if it's flat, controlled, and understandable. Belief is rarely abstract. It is personal. For flat earthers, the Earth is a battleground between truth and deception. To believe the Earth is flat is to claim intellectual superiority. It signals independence, rebellion, and critical thinking. It says, I see what others are blind to. Social psychologists call this in-group/out-group distinction. Adherents are part of the enlightened. Everyone else, scientists, teachers, mainstream media, becomes the deceived. Once belief merges with identity, it becomes almost impossible to challenge. Attacking the belief isn't attacking a fact. It's attacking the self. The brain reinforces this. Defending a strongly held belief activates the ventral striatum, the reward center. Every successful argument, every gotcha moment online, releases dopamine, the same chemical that reinforces eating, social praise, romantic attraction. Threaten a belief, and the amygdala, the emotional alarm system, responds. The brain perceives danger, not argument. Challenge a flat earther, and their brain literally feels threatened. Functional MRI studies show that the prefrontal cortex, which governs rational thought, can be suppressed under emotional or ideological pressure. Reasoning fails when identity and emotion dominate. Flat Earth belief is a type of conspiracy thinking. Research by Karen M. Douglas and colleagues shows that conspiracy belief correlates with mistrust of authority, need for uniqueness, intolerance of uncertainty, desire for control. The world is complex, chaotic, and often frightening. Conspiracy theories offer simple, emotionally satisfying narratives. They provide villains, heroes, and explanations where science offers ambiguity. Humans crave narrative. Flat Earth becomes a story in which believers are the heroes, the rest of the world the deceived. Social media accelerates this. Algorithms prioritize engagement. Controversial, emotional, extreme content gets clicks. Online communities reinforce each other, creating echo chambers. Validation in forums and YouTube comment sections rewards extremity. Memes, videos, and shared evidence create feedback loops. Belief becomes self-rewarding. And once social identity intertwines with ideology, abandoning it feels like leaving a family. Flat Earth thinking is modern, but the psychology is ancient. Throughout history, humans have rejected evidence under social, psychological, or cultural pressures. alchemy, and astrology reflected attempts to control uncertainty. Witch hunts leveraged fear and group cohesion. Geocentrism persisted for centuries as authority and identity intertwined. Flat Earth is the 21st century manifestation of an age-old human tendency to distrust authorities, simplify complexity, and find belonging in shared opposition. Philosophers have long pondered why humans cling to belief over reason. Bertrand Russell wrote, "The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain, and wise people are so full of doubts." Flat earthers illustrate this tension perfectly. Certainty without humility. Conviction without curiosity. It's not irrationality. It's a failure of epistemic humility. Humans often value certainty over truth because certainty reduces existential anxiety. Conspiracy thinking also involves social defense. Flat earthers often portray scientists, teachers, and officials as dishonest or corrupt. This creates distance and justification for rejecting evidence. They employ what psychologists call dehumanization of the other to protect identity. History shows the same mechanism in cults, radical movements, and extremist groups. The psychological satisfaction of belief cannot be underestimated. Every proof, video, meme, or discussion triggers reward centers. The mind gets dopamine hits for defending identity, belonging, and intellectual superiority. Flat Earth belief becomes addictive. The more one defends it, the more reinforced it becomes. A self-perpetuating neurochemical loop. Flat Earth believers are not merely stupid. They reflect a universal human tension. The struggle between trust and doubt, certainty and evidence, belonging and individuality. Every one of us is susceptible in smaller ways. The narratives we cling to, the facts we ignore, the truths we bend. Flat Earth is an extreme mirror of all belief. The path out of belief is rarely confrontation. It requires empathy, dialogue, and understanding the social, emotional, and cognitive roots of belief. Research in cognitive flexibility shows that exposure to alternative narratives, social connection, and respectful engagement can gradually alter rigid belief structures. Belief is powerful, but so is understanding. Flat Earth belief is more than a theory. It is a story, a community, a neurochemical loop, a coping mechanism. It reveals the fragility and brilliance of the human mind. It reminds us that truth is not always enough. Evidence alone rarely changes hearts. Identity, belonging, and emotion govern belief as much as reason. And perhaps the most unsettling truth of all, the same psychological tendencies that make flat earthers possible exist in each of us, waiting in some context to shape our own perception of reality. The earth is round, but the human mind, far more complex and infinitely harder to measure.